Hey everybody, rudyxx here to talk today about the next game in the RPGalooza series, Shadow Madness. Going into this game, I wasn't expecting much. Shadow Madness is notorious for being bad. I had played the game for a very short time many years ago, but I didn't really remember much beyond being able to skip summon cutscenes, so it already had a leg up on Final Fantasy VII in my mind. The game started off pretty confusing, with a story that seems like it came straight out of an RP form written by a bunch of middle schoolers. It was hard to really get me sucked in. On top of poor writing, the controls were incredibly confusing at first, but as I got more used to them, it really didn't seem that bad and eventually became pretty fluid feeling. As I played more and more through the game, I started really questioning why people hate on the game so much. My biggest assumption is that no one made it past the first hour or so of the game because that's basically the only time the game feels incredibly awful. I mean, the game is definitely not great. The story is incredibly bad, but beyond the story, the rest of the game is actually fairly decent. The music isn't bad, the gameplay isn't bad, you can skip cutscenes, you can skip random encounters, and in fact, there's little reason to even do random encounters as the game is incredibly easy to begin with. There's definitely a lot of unique features and interesting things that continue to keep me playing the game despite the lackluster story. In fact, there was one minigame in the game that actually had me disappointed when it was over because it was actually pretty fun despite the god-awful graphics for it. There's this section of the game where you have to control a submarine and it actually controls pretty well and plays pretty fun. I was expecting a disaster as soon as I got into the sub, but it turned out to be one of the more enjoyable parts of the game. After going through the game, I'm really not sure why there's so much hate for it. Really, the only incredibly bad parts of the game were anything that involved dialogue. Calling the writing incredibly poor is definitely an understatement, but it wasn't so bad that it kept me from playing. If anything, I found myself laughing at it more often than I expected. During my stream of the game, I had a lot of people make fun of the graphics. The video quality definitely felt like it came out of a 320 by 240 real player video, but I'm not one to typically judge a game by its graphics unless they make the entire experience confusing. There were definitely a few moments early on where I couldn't tell where to go because of the way the pre-rendered backgrounds were set up, but as I got used to how things worked, it got a lot easier to understand where they were going with it. I've definitely played worse games out there, so for RPGalooza I gave this game 3 out of 5 stars. It was an incredibly average game, but it was enough that I enjoyed my overall experience with it. I'd even considered the possibility of picking it up to speedrun one day, as it possesses all the qualities of a good RPG speedrun, but that might be some time from now if I ever end up doing it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe to keep up with RPGalooza experiences, or feel free to follow my Twitch channel, linked below the video. And until next time, have a great one!